What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. It's finally here. The next phase in how to start a food forest. The stage is set. The trees are here. There's no time to waste. Let's go. There's a number of things we've done to get to where we're at now. First, we put the foundation in, the wood chips. This is going to hold the moisture in, build our fertility, and keep the weeds down. Second, we put in appropriate fencing. Now that we put the investment out of purchasing these trees, we want to make sure we're protecting them. And this fencing is going to do just that. One thing to note is this fencing can also be multifunctional. We're going to be growing many things up it. We've already got some grapes planted here. And third was to spend your time and do research on variety selection. This is one, in my opinion, that cannot be overemphasized. Getting the right tree in the first time is so important. And I believe this little piece of information could save you years of frustration. In the intro, I called this a stage, but really it's more of a canvas for us to paint on. We get to be the artists, and we get to work with life to create a living piece of artwork that also supports us and sustains us. So this is my favorite thing to do, starting food forests. I love it. And to be able to have one starting right next to my 7-year-old one, I feel so blessed. I've said it before, but I really am so grateful and thankful. And I think you guys have seen right from that introduction too that we took down the rest of that Bradford pear. It had to be done right there. I'm so happy we took it down. And we took that one Bradford pear down and that Eastern red cedar next to it, but we're going to be putting in at least 15, 20 productive fruit trees. So it's all worth it in my opinion. Okay, I have to get the trees in now. I'm so excited to officially start the food forest. I cannot wait. But before I do, I want to mention you guys that this process, designing your food forest, putting the trees in, you only get to do it once. So make sure you enjoy it. This should be the funnest part. Play like a child out here, Masanobu Fukuoka says. Enjoy it like you would if you were a little kid. And one thing I want to tell you also is to have faith that what you're going to do is actually going to work. Let's get planted.
In times like these.
You notice we got 2 boxes here because you know we got a lot. I ordered from Rain Tree Nursery this year. I've ordered from a number of different nurseries and this has just been my favorite, so I chose to use them. And you may have noticed that I got these trees a number of days ago. So what do you do if you got your trees early and you just can't actually plant them the day you get them? So if it's only going to be about a week or so, what I do and what is recommended is that you kind of just check on the health of the trees. So a lot of it will come wrapped in plastic and with shredded paper. So the root ball on my tree was all wrapped in plastic. What I did was open that up and made sure that it was actually nice and damp. And if it isn't damp, you want to keep it damp, not soggy wet, but damp. Then I just left it actually in the garage because you want to keep it in an area that's around 45 degrees, no warmer than about 60 or your buds can start to open, and no cooler than around 40 because you don't want any freezing for these roots. If you're in a situation that you can't plant your fruit trees for more than 10 days, it's suggested that you heel the trees in. What you do for this is basically just dig a trench that's wide enough for the roots of your fruit trees, then put the fruit trees, the roots in that, lay them sideways. You don't have to plant them into the ground, and then just cover the roots with soil. This way you're kind of putting it back in a natural setting and mimicking it. Then get the trees in as soon as you possibly can. Ideally, you want to get your fruit trees in as soon as possible. So if you can, do that. That's why the timing of the delivery is so important. In my opinion, I'd rather get my trees a little later and be able to put them in almost immediately than get them really early and have to have them sit and heel them in somewhere. I think it's just easier to get them a little later, in my opinion. So let me open this up and see what we got. It looks like they did a nice job packaging, and the other day I came through to make sure the root ball was all wet. So hopefully the trees and everything look good. This is, I love doing this. I've been waiting all year for this. Every time I pull something out, I just wonder what it is, what it's gonna be. And I'm not gonna go through every little thing as I pull it out. Let me just get it all out and then show you guys after it's out.
Times like those, what will be, and so it goes, and it always goes on.
That one's all done. Let's open the next one. I can't wait.
On and on and on and on it goes.
After I opened the first box and had all the stuff, I realized this is probably the worst idea to do it outside, But whatever, I'm in the food forest. The fencing will stop all the newspaper, then I'll pick it up.
There's always been laughing, crying, birthing, dying, boys and girls with hearts that take and give and break.
So here it is, this year's order. Tuck's going through it, trying to rip it apart. Just like I figured he would. Hey, stop. He's too excited. He's about as excited as I am.
What will be, and so it goes. And there will always be stop and go, and fast and slow. And
before we get too crazy though, we don't have that much time. The day is waning. Let's get this stuff in and let's get it growing. I'm going to start in this back corner. Right here I'm going to plant a peach tree. The peach tree is going to get pretty large. It's on a semi-dwarf rootstock, on the Lovell rootstock. I think that's how you say it. And that's going to get about 12 to 18 feet tall, even though I can prune it differently and keep it smaller. So I wanted that back area. This is the south over here, and this is the west. So I want to make sure I keep it in that back corner. This way I'm not shading some of the smaller trees in the front. So here's where we'll put the first peach tree. And one thing I love about this way of gardening, there's so many things I love about it, but is how easy it is. Everything I'm going to basically need is right here. And you'll notice I'm not in like dirty work clothes because this isn't really hard work. It's not going to be that much. I put the right system in. All I'm going to have to do is pull back these wood chips, dig a hole. The soil should be nice and damp, moist, pretty soft. Then I'll put my fruit tree in and maybe a little top dressing or something, some black leaf mulch or something, just to give it added nutrition. And that's it. We'll move on to the next one. So again, this isn't rocket science and it doesn't have to be really hard. Let me show you guys how I do it. And let me show you as I pull back some of these wood chips, maybe we'll have some worms and stuff in here. Before I do that, what tools am I using? Nothing special. A rake, a shovel, a tarp to lay the soil on so I don't mix the soil that I take out, the dirt, with the wood chips. We don't want to be mixing that. And then some of my mycos. This is the only thing I use. This is all natural, but it's basically just giving that extra inoculant of mycorrhizal fungi. Then we'll put some top dressing and a little bit maybe in the soil of the black leaf mulch. The only reason we'll put it in the soil a little is so that we could help feed that mycorrhizal fungi, because they feed on that good organic matter. So let's pull back these chips and see what we got.
reaction, sticks and stones and broken bones, those for peace and those for war.
So we're not going to dig out a huge section, just big enough to get the tree in. And you can see how moist and everything the soil is. And you can see the size of what we got working here. This is why you want to have the wood chips in, guys. This is why we put the wood chips down. I didn't do any work. All I do is just dig down. Now I'm going to plant my tree. And these are going to be working 24/7 constantly. And a million of his little friends for me.
On and on and on it goes.
Hey, look at the size of this thing. What a beautiful rootstock. And this is the Mary Jane. We'll get this one in here. That peach is even bigger than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to make the hole just a little bigger.
I know it won't be the same. Somehow I know.
Want to make sure you get a lot of these roots out so tree doesn't have any competition. So important with a young tree. I've got that hole dug. I want to make sure that this hole has got enough room that the roots have room to spread and that I'm not clumping them together from the start, because that's one of the main reasons that I like the bare root trees is you're going to get good dispersal of roots, because when I plant it, I can spread them out in all different directions. And that's one of the things I like to do. Important though is when you do plant this bare root tree, you want to make sure this graft, where you can see it's right here, that the graft is 2 inches. You keep that graft here 2 inches above the soil at least, that bud union. You don't want it super high up, but 2 inches is about perfect. And I'll show you guys as I do it. And it's 2 inches above the soil, not the wood chips. Now I'm just gonna throw a little soil in around it just to hold it. Next I wanna add some of the mycorrhizal fungi, the mycos. Try to get it on those roots. This way we inoculate it right away. And I'll put a little black leaf mulch at the bottom just to feed the fungus. I don't want to add a lot of this black leaf mulch. The reason I don't do that is because I don't want to lie to the tree. I don't want to trick it. This is going to be the soil that it's going to be living in. So right off the bat, I want to make sure that it's going to know where it's going to live. If I put all black leaf mulch around this tree, then it's going to want to hang out in that one small little section. It's never going to want to grow out and grow up. So I see growing trees is a lot like raising kids. You can't baby them, you gotta guide them. That's what I try to do. One thing that's important when planting your fruit tree is you don't wanna have any air pockets. So you wanna make sure you're filling up any spots where there is any air. And you don't wanna be pushing firm, but you wanna make sure again that there's no air. I'm gonna layer just a little more black leaf mulch in here, kinda as a top dressing through the center. Again, in layers. Then I'll do another with the mycos, just to feed it. Because this whole food forest is just a whole fungal network in here. Now I can start bringing this back, and we want this union 2 inches above. If we have to, we can pull it up a little bit, but 2 inches above the soil level. So soil level is right here. We look like we're doing pretty good. We're almost to the soil level. So what I'll do is just hold off for now. Come and water this in. Maybe a little more black leaf mulch over the top. I'll water it in here. When I water it, I make sure I give it deep watering. We don't want just a surface watering.
You think you know, but you don't.
There we go, that's all soaked in. Come back with more native soil.
Said I got my tongue twisted up and tied away. I'm trying to do my best. Yes, I know the failure is the lesson I've been guessing.
Again, this is going to be what it grows in. We don't want to be tricking it.
We time but want poetry. She wants prose, I'm too slow. Trying to pick it up though. Is it me you're really into? No, it's me you feel.
There's the first fruit tree planted of 2018 in the new food forest. So exciting. You'll notice around the base, the wood chips really aren't that deep. I want to make sure when I water, we get a nice watering. Any rains get down into the roots too. Then as the tree gets older and stuff, I'll bring the wood chips even thicker around the base. But we've got wood chips plenty thick around here so we don't have any weeds. Not having any weeds is so important for a young fruit tree. There she is, the first one planted. I've got a lot more to plant. It's going to be basically the same thing over and over. Let me give you guys a montage of just what we're doing, show you how much fun we're really going to have. After I get the rest of the trees in, I'll show you guys some of the design and the layout of it. But till then, let's go.
This is out of control. Why can't I ever get it though? Damn, why can't I ever get it though? This is out of control. Why can't I ever get it though? Damn, why can't I ever get it though? At least I got my brains, at least I got my wit. Watch me go on over, see the conversation slip. Feeling kinda twisted, yes I'm kinda sick. I try to counter, man, I wish that I could hit and never miss, girl. Yeah, you know that things ain't easy. Try to understand and believe me. Yes, I want the real thing. Well, oh girl, I want the real thing, baby. And this is out of control. Why can't I ever get it though? Damn, why can't I ever get it though? Got it all figured out now, and this is out of control. Why can't I ever get it though? Damn, can't I ever get it though?
There we go, got everything planted and it is looking great. I'm super excited. In this front corner section, I decided that I'm gonna plant annuals in here. It's close to the back door, so once I come out, I can grab my fresh greens or whatever. I think that'll work perfectly. And let me take you through though, show you some of the stuff we planted. In this area right here, we've got a small apple area, basically an apple guild. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 apples, and then the 5th right over there. Along the fence line out there, we've got 3 peaches. And as time goes on, I'll show you guys exactly what they are and get a little more in depth. And then over here, we've got 3 pears. 1, 2, 3. And then our 4th peach is back here. So right now it looks more like an orchard than a food forest. But these are just the foundational plantings that we wanted to get in. Soon we'll come through, we'll put strawberries, a few different varieties, between each aisle. And they'll start as in straight rows, but over time they'll spread and expand and they'll go underneath the trees, kind of like we have in the a 7-year-old food forest. So as time goes on, this is going to adapt and expand. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a food forest. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. Check us out on Steam It, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. So every time we upload, you know. James Prigioni is out.